it just seems like Bill is kind of checking out a little bit with not naming an offensive coordinator. There's so many things that when you go into a second year of, one of two things can happen. Either you can get better from your failures the year before if you failed, or you can regress from the positives that you showed from the year before. Take your favorite musician. You might say, their first album was great, second album sucked. Or sometimes you say, the first album was second album they got it. Well, this is a case where the first album was really good in Mac Jones. That was a really good record. And think about it, it came as a surprise because the way preseason looked like this year at this time, Cam Newton was getting all the first team snaps. So there seemed to be some type of level of genius of the production value and what they were getting out of the players, or that applies to music too, right? What you're getting out of the players, how they're kind of coming together and making things work. And you know what? It looked pretty good considering. But now you get rid of the best producer you had, and Josh McDaniels left. And you say you're not going to bring in another producer to kind of produce the band? This is the second album. You got to have a good, solid follow-up. It may not be the maximus opus of what they do, but my goodness, it's got to be at least just as good. And you're like, we're just going to kind of see how it rolls. That's going to be the mistake. The mistakes are showing up in practice already. See, last week, a lot of us, or a lot of fans, were fawning of what they saw outside of pads and in shorts, and you're like, Devontae Parker was looking great, and look, that's all well and good. Games still have not been played, and it seems like it's feeling worse as the time goes on when it's supposed to get better as the time goes on. Now, there's a chance it can get better, but you're figuring look, you had a winning formula last year. You haven't made any super major changes in terms of personnel. In fact, there are some personnel you think that are really going to pop now because, Jonnu Smith in a contract year, Nelson Aguilar's the contract year, and you wonder where these guys' futures look like if they don't perform this year. So there's some advantageous things that you have, and it's it's not really showing up, even in practice. And normally we really don't talk about practice. So here's Mac Jones on Peter King's podcast saying, does it feel like he's the quarterback of the ghost of TB past?
I think, Tom's a great quarterback, and he did so much here. And just to be able to watch him play, even now, just the way he plays the game is the right way. He's very smart and does a great job there. But I'm just here to work. And, as a rookie, you're coming in and competing with the other quarterbacks, but also yourself, like I said. So I always watch people that are good at what they do, whatever it is. If you're a really good pilot, let's find out what the really good pilots do, So that's my thing, and he's a really good quarterback, and there's lessons to learn from everybody. And just watching tape and all that, you see, great quarterback play around the league. So I always try to be a sponge and learn from whoever I can.
Going into that sophomore year, not discussing what we built upon, what was great last year and looked really good at times. Think about how clever and intelligent that Buffalo game was. I'm talking about the first one. And here we are asking, does it feel like TB12's ghost still kind of lurks over the team? Well, the answer is yes. But does it feel like it when it comes to the offense, right? Because that question is really saying, after Tom won a couple of Super Bowls, it was really Josh McDaniel pretty much coalescing with Tom Brady on the offense. It wasn't like, Tom, I need you to do this. I need you to maximize this. No, that was kind of already happening. They got to learn from each other. This isn't a learn from each other because there's no other.